Hey everyone, so this week I'd like to talk about career goals and using your critical thinking skills and I guess kind of combine those. So, um, so in terms of critical thinking skills, I think about having to make decisions and quick decisions, and I think you're having in social work you have to use critical thinking skills very quickly, and that's not easy always. Definitely not easy. So, um, so one example would be um, this past week of my internship. There was a client who came in who was very upset, and she was crying, um, and she was upset about a conversation that she had with her visiting nurse. Um, and she didn't get into the details or anything like that, but I kind of knew some of the backstory because her visiting nurse had informed her community outreach providers, who then notified all the providers, including myself. Now, this client is someone who has delusional thoughts and a lot of says things that haven't don't really probably aren't really true. Like for example, some people are constantly putting rats in her apartment. She states that she's been raped at a hospital and the mafia was involved. So it's just things don't really add up sometimes. So this past situation was she told the VNA nurse that she was pregnant. Um, so um, not sure what was going on there, but I think they wanted to possibly have her hospitalized. So when she came in, she was upset about possibly being hospitalized. She brought that up with me. She was really upset. She didn't say anything about being pregnant, so I thought that was interesting. But I think it's tough because you're put in a situation you don't really. I didn't expect her to be upset, but I was in a situation where I had to um, use my critical thinking skills and feel like I have to make I had to constantly make some decisions on how to handle it. I feel as though I handled it very well, um, and so I'd also like that. So I like to add. I think for my career goals, I'd like to continue to improve my critical thinking skills and feel more confident. I do think that it is something that I have been working on that has gotten better. I have been able to understand that I think everyone struggles with this. It's not just me. I think everyone feels as though they can make a better decision. And I think also when you look at things hindsight, you always are able to see other decisions that could have been made, things that you could have said better, other questions you could have asked, things that you could have explored differently. So I think understanding that and knowing that, and I have to remind myself of that. But definitely, career goals is something that I'd like to um, work on in terms of career goals. Another thing about career goals is I think it's exciting that we're all almost done, kind of, got till December, but we're almost there. Um, so I think it's exciting, and I think thinking about being done and the next steps, it come to thinking about being licensed, and now adding what I was talking about earlier with um, critical thinking. I think when you're licensed, your critical thinking skills come more into play. They kind of become more important. You might have more responsibilities depending on what job you're doing, but I think when you have a license, like people can lose their license. Like it's pretty serious, and I think there's just a lot of responsibility, a lot of consequences to your actions, more so than where we're at right now. I think especially being an intern now, you're learning and you can make mistakes. And you might feel like it's easier to make mistakes, or not easier, but you have a lot more leeway. Um, so it's definitely not as stressful as some people might um, experience being licensed or in being a director and having a lot of responsibility over people's lives. And I think that's just something that's definitely hard to understand sometimes. And also, I like to ask a question: well, how does everybody feel about that when they're licensed and they'll have a lot more responsibilities? How do you think that will be? What do you how? So I think people could write back. Um, what do they expect it to be like when they have their license? So thank you.